Hello, YouTube community. Good afternoon. My name is Brandon, and this will be my first ever video on what is a narcissist and how you can recognize and spot people with narcissistic personality disorder on my channel that I just created called Deconstructing Narcissism. Um, Now, I really want to thank you for tuning in and listening to what I have to say. And I highly encourage you and to look at other narcissistic support channels and groups and other channels that have to deal with psychopathy and sociopathy and other personality disorders like bipolar and borderline personality disorder, and anybody on the cluster B scale meaning anybody who displays sociopathic traits, psychopathic traits, narcissistic traits, borderline, anybody who has those traits, and anybody who has one or more of those personality disorders. Because I believe it's really, 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 really important to talk about these things. These people are very dangerous to be around. They are very, very manipulative, very unstable. They could change at a drop of a hat, and you wouldn't even know what's going on. If you stay with these people, you will become crazy, just like they are. You really will. And that's today we're going to talk about exactly what is a narcissist, so you can recognize some of the signs, because there are many different types of narcissists, and they're not always easily recognizable. There's malignant narcissism, there's covert narcissism, which is very, very dangerous. Covert narcissism is probably the most dangerous type of narcissism there is, because covert narcissists are very, very fucking smart, and they know when to turn off their psycho and when to turn on their normal. They have many, many, many different kinds of masks that they wear throughout the day, depending on people, depending on who they're talking to, and depending on who they're talking to, basically, depending on what kind of personality they think they should put on for that particular person in mind. It's very dangerous, especially for people who are not close to the narcissist. They're the ones that get most of the emotional, the verbal, the physical abuse, the psychological torture, which we'll definitely go into, the mind games, just the overall psychotic tantrums that you'll have to deal with when dealing with a narcissist, or anybody who even has narcissistic traits, to be honest. But right now, I think I've spoken enough about that. Right now, we're going to go into what exactly is a narcissist. A person with narcissistic personality disorder has a complete, usually with a person with a narcissistic personality disorder, somewhere along the line, whether that be in their childhood or when they were adolescent or when they were maybe a young adult, somewhere along that line, a series of traumatic events or a single traumatic event happened in their life that caused this sort of they kind of like planted the seed for this personality disorder to grow. Usually, narcissistic parents and people who have narcissistic personality disorder were raised either by narcissistic parents, or they've had other narcissists in their life, or other mentally unstable people in their life that use the same kind of manipulative tactics against them to control or manipulate or get something of value from them. And instead of working through these issues, they developed what's called a false self, a false sense of self, a mask, if you, to deal with the trauma and to deal with the experiences that they have had. And in the beginning, their manipulation tactics are usually not as good. It usually starts off with little things. Think of, a kid who puts their hand, a kid who gets caught stealing a cookie and then lies about it later. A kid who gets caught stealing a cookie from the cookie jar and then, lies to their mom or dad about it. Now, kids can't, kids are very narcissistic, and that's understandable because when you're a kid, you can only think about your own needs that need to be met. I apologize. I'm just turning on my air right now. It is very hot in my apartment, but you can get a nice view of the third floor while I do that right now. Kids are very narcissistic, like I was saying. They can't think of anybody else's needs but their own, and that's understandable because they're kids. They haven't developed. Their brain is not near the capacity to even get a basic, really a basic understanding of empathy and putting themselves in other people's shoes and all that because they're kids. I mean, that's, like I said, they're not going to have that basic understanding and that empathy and those emotions and to know how other people feel around them and to put themselves into the shoes of another person. Narcissists are forever in a state of essentially arrested development. They're literally the equivalent of 6 or 7 year old children. They're 6 or 7 year old children in the bodies of 40, 50, 60-year-old grown adults. And this, like I said, this can happen a number of different ways through a traumatic event or a series of traumatic events. Maybe their parents were just overprotective. Maybe they were super controlling and manipulative and were horrible parents, verbally, emotionally, physically, sexually, maybe even emotionally incestuous, which emotional incest is where the parent trains the child essentially to care only about the parents or the mother or the father's needs in place of their own needs, which another word for it is called parentification. That's in a narcissistic family. That usually happens anyway. Well, not necessarily. In a narcissistic family, there's a few things that can happen in a dysfunctional narcissistic family. So you could have parents that either use parentification, which is a extreme form of abuse, where the parent makes the child basically into his or her own personal Cinderella, princess caretaker. He or she is responsible for the emotional needs of the parent or caretaker or friend, whoever the narcissist is in their life. He or she is responsible for their needs and their needs only. His or her needs are swept under the rug. They learn to be silent about their needs. They learn to keep quiet about their feelings. They learn that their feelings don't matter. They learn that the only feelings that matter are their narcissistic parents' feelings, or the narcissistic uncle or aunt, or whoever it may be that's raising the kid. Infantilization, what I've been through with my narcissistic parents, is an extreme form of disgusting abuse where no matter how old you get, no matter how mature you try to act, no matter how many adult responsibilities you might try to do or you have, or no matter how much you try to grow up and become an adult, your narcissistic mother or father will never, ever let you grow up because they cannot see you as anything else other than a child. They see you, narcissistic parents, they literally see you as an extension of themselves. They see you like they see a Cabbage Patch doll. They see you as a doll, as this inanimate object to dress to their liking, to a servant. They see you as a servant or a doll that has no feelings. Narcissists oftentimes they believe that everyone feels like them. They believe that everyone is like them. They have a lack of empathy and they have a lack of compassion, remorse, definitely remorse. They don't believe they do truly believe that most people are like them, and so when they see it's a horrible illness. So when they see someone who is not like them, they go crazy and they don't know what to do, and they're just, why is this person not like me? They truly believe that everybody else is out to get them. Everybody else is exactly like them. They're extremely paranoid, extremely hypervigilant. Hypervigilant meaning always on alert, always on edge. And the reason they're hypervigilant is because they know that they're bad people, for one thing. I mean, they know what they're doing. They know the things that they are doing is wrong. So that's why they're always paranoid. They're always in this state of flight or fight response state, because they're worried about people finding out who they are. They're worried about the mask being pulled off their ugly face, and they're worried about people finding out about their fucked up behavior and their fucked up antics and their manipulation tactics. And they're narcissists. They're only and always going to be about creating that perfect image to the outside world, which, it would seem like it'd be easier to just be a good person, and then you wouldn't have to create all these false personas and all these masks and to hide who you really are, to hide the ugly, disgusting monster that they really are inside. But it's for the narcissist, it's protect the false self at all costs. Protect the false self at all costs. It does not matter what it takes. Protect the false self. They always are protecting the false self. They're always protecting their image and how they look and how they appear to people on the outside world. It doesn't matter how they appear to people, to their family. They're fine with it. They're fine with acting like complete assholes and manipulative jerks and whoever. They're completely fine with acting the way they do with family. But to their outside world, it matters. It matters to their career. It matters to their profession. They want to be seen in a good light by people, mainly to obtain narcissistic supply. Now this is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, this video is kind of going all over the place, but mainly right now I'm talking about the covert narcissist. The covert narcissist is the one who is, super dad or super mom or whoever, who just seems like the absolute perfect person who could do no wrong whatsoever. They're about maintaining their image at all costs. They want to maintain their image. They do not want people to find out who they are or what they've been doing. And like I said, they're all about creating the false self. They're all about creating this image to other people, so it appears they are a good people. So it appears that they're just the most wonderful, kind, compassionate, empathetic, just the God's gift to the earth, an angel that, came down from fucking heaven or whatever. They just want to appear like this godly saint. And that's what my mother would do a lot. She would. It was always about protecting herself. It was always, she would yell at home. She was a tyrant. She was an absolute fucking tyrant at home. And this is saying in the best possible way. She's a fucking tyrant. I mean, she would yell at me. She would scream at me. She would hide my things. I caught my parents hiding my things many, 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 many times. Well, I guess I haven't caught it, but I've seen my things disappear many, many times. I've seen my things in places that I would never, ever, ever put them, ever. I did manage to catch her at the end before I left that toxic household, and she was hiding my keys, which it was one of the things that they really like to do, was hide my keys. So I couldn't get to work. But the covert narcissist will protect their image at all costs, and they will do anything to make it seem like they're this perfect godly saint outside of the household. And we're going to go into the covert narcissist more, but I'm just talking about more what narcissism is. Narcissism is, like I said, it's much more than being grandiose and full of ideas and blah, 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 which, which is a big problem, and which is part of narcissism as well. Narcissism is, by definition, is a person with a personality disorder who lacks empathy, compassion, and remorse, and basically, it's a disorder of the brain as well, because they're part of their brain that is responsible for empathy and compassion and sympathy, which I believe is somewhere near the frontal lobe of the brain. That's completely broken. So they cannot experience true empathy or sympathy or compassion, and they have little to no regret. That's why many narcissists have antisocial traits. There's a saying that not all narcissists are sociopaths, but all sociopaths are narcissists. This really rings true. A lot of narcissists do have sociopathic traits, but they aren't. How do I describe this? Or no, it was not all sociopaths are narcissists, but all narcissists are sociopaths, or something like that. But anyway, narcissists, not all narcissists have sociopathic traits. I should say that. But a lot of them do. A lot of them do. Like I said, it's so much more than just being so full of yourself and with these grandiose, ideas and all of this. They are manipulative. They are controlling to the max. They will screw with your mind. They will do what's called gaslighting, which is basically just a mind fuckery of lying and trying to rewrite your perception of reality, rewrite events, make you confused, make you believe that events happened a different way than they really did. And this is a very, very disgusting tactic that narcissists use. They're basically trying, it's like imagine a virus or a malware, a Trojan horse virus on your computer. They're trying, with this tactic, it doesn't work. It's a tactic used through years and years and years and years and years and years that slowly erodes the mind of the victim in question. And this is a highly dangerous manipulation tactic, and one that was used against me for 26 years of my life. So if you are a victim being exposed to gaslighting, eventually over years and years and years, it erodes the mind to the point where you don't know up from down, left from right, back from forward. I mean, it is that serious. It completely screws up your perception of reality. The end goal of the narcissist that's using gaslighting, that's usually using manipulative tactics like gaslighting, is to completely hijack your mind, so you don't even trust your own perception or your own thoughts or your own ideas. So you go straight to the narcissist or the abuser, the person abusing you, for clarification on a certain events or certain things that happened. So until the narcissist or the abuser completely has control of your mind and you don't know what's real or what's fake anymore. So that's why the victim goes to the abuser or the narcissist to get clarification. And of course, the narcissist is going to feed the victim bullshit, because that's the whole goal, is to hijack their mind and make them believe their bullshit is real and true. And they don't know, and the victim has no idea what they're talking about. A lot of the times the narcissist will try to, in the case of my mom, I believe that she might have Munchausen's by proxy. In this case, they will like to diagnose you. They like to play doctor a lot. Like my mom liked to play doctor. Now she'd like to diagnose me as autistic. The latest diagnosis that they tried to throw at me was that I had schizophrenia. I was in the early stages of schizophrenia. They were saying that schizophrenia happens around this age and that I must have schizophrenia because, nobody else was taking my things. My things were disappearing. I was just forgetting all of them. And, that might be true, because when you have a narcissist or manipulative person that's hiding your things, constantly confusing you, moving your things around, you tend to forget where you put your things as well, because the narcissist hide your things. Sometimes they hide your things, and sometimes they don't. It just creates utter chaos and confusion, and to the point where you just want to give up and die. I mean, that's how I was at the end of the relationship with my narcissistic parents. I just wanted to give up and die, and that's a really, really sad way to look at life. And narcissists will drive you into the ground. They will make you suicidal. They will make you so angry. I've never had so much rage before than I was with my parents. I mean, I wanted to kill everything and everyone that was in my path, and I didn't fucking care about anything or anyone. Like, the rage that you feel after dealing with this for 20 plus years is indescribable. I mean, I could just destroy an entire room, and just smash everything. You have no idea how angry you get when you're dealing with people like this. And it's terrible because you go to work angry. A lot of the times I didn't notice, but sometimes I did, and I just had no idea why I was so pissed all the time. I really didn't know, like, why. I knew, but I didn't know for sure. Like, I kind of had a feeling, a suspicion, but I really didn't know for sure up until, like, last year. I would go to work angry. My face was angry. Everybody would tell me, hey, you're so angry all the time. Why you look so angry? Your face is so angry, blah, 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 this and that. And I was like, and, I did a lot of reflecting. And for years and years and years and years and years, I did reflecting. I thought it was me. I was losing jobs. I was losing things. Like, my friendships were going from childhood. Like, I would make friends, and then I would lose them. And I would see therapists and psychologists, and they just wouldn't want to see me again. It was just, they just turn your life upside down. They turn your life upside down, guys. And it's really important that you guys recognize the signs of narcissism, because it's so much more than being grandiose. You need to understand that narcissists aren't always easily detectable. If we're dealing with an overt narcissist, which we will get into in another video, but I'm going to explain a little bit here just so you guys can recognize some of the signs and be aware of what an overt narcissist is. An overt narcissist will be very easily recognizable. An overt narcissist, a lot of overt narcissists are drug addicts. They use drugs to deal with the pain of their narcissism, because narcissists are endless black empty holes of filth, and they have nothing going for them. They're just endless holes. They can't feel compassion, sympathy, or remorse, or love even. They can't even feel. Narcissists cannot feel love, and that's one of the things they do is they use drugs to cope with that pain. The overt narcissists are not afraid to say anything on their mind. They will be rude, vulgar. My uncle, who I believe could be an overt, will say disgusting sex jokes, or, rude comments about how I used to park my car, or, the food I make, or just anything. The overt narcissist doesn't give a flying fuck, basically. They will say what's on their mind. They will do what they feel like, and they don't give a shit who it affects at all. These are the people that do get diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, because they are open about their narcissism. They are very open about their narcissism. They don't care who sees their narcissism, and they're proud of their narcissism. They're very proud of their narcissism. They flaunt it like it's some big dick to wave around, or or Bible, or they flaunt it in public like it's no big deal. And like I said, the covert narcissists are very, very secretive. They don't flaunt around their narcissism. A lot of the times they play, the innocent, sweet loving person in public to gain sympathy and narcissistic supply. The overtness, narcissistic supply, by the way, being attention, because the main goal of the narcissist is to get what's called narcissistic supply or attention. That is their heroin. You cannot think of the narcissist as this person who's out to get a particular person. I've learned recently that you have to think of narcissism. You have to think of their addiction, attention, as no other addiction, kind of like a heroin addiction or a crack addiction. It's literally something they need. We all know how drugs turn people into monsters. No matter if even if they don't have a personality disorder. But it is literally a drug that they need to survive. If they do not get attention or narcissistic supply, they will literally implode. I mean, they will implode. I mean, it is like attention is like life or death for a narcissist. They need attention due to the lack of attention, or due to the lack of attention they received when they were younger, or too much attention. Maybe they got spoiled rotten, but at the end of the day, they need attention, and one way or another, they're going to get it. And they don't give a shit who it hurts, who they have to step over to get it. They don't care who it affects. They're gonna take it, and they're gonna get it in any way possible. Even if they resort to criminal activity, which most narcissists do criminal activity. The most are involved in criminal activity, which is why they just need to be locked up. They're criminals. They need to be locked up and thrown away, or discarded. They're just they should not. And there's so many of them. There's so many of them, it seems, roaming around society. Ever since, I'm not going to get too much into politics, but I believe ever since Trump was elected, narcissism really has been amplified in our society. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I really hope, I know I really went on a long rant in this video, but I really hope this kind of sums up what narcissism is. Again, we're going to go over it. It is a lack of empathy, compassion. It is a personality disorder where a person completely lacks love, empathy, or compassion for anyone or anything except themselves. And there is no cure for this personality disorder, because there's no cure, there's no pill, because empathy and compassion and basic human emotions cannot be fixed with a pill. These are learned growing up. These are learned over time, as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult. These are things that are learned over time, that are supposed to be taught by mentally stable, happy, healthy parents. And unfortunately, the people who do turn into narcissists, or who are narcissists, never received any of that when they were younger. So in turn, they become narcissists, and then they have children, and then their children either become scapegoats like I was, or they become what's called, or they become the lost child. We'll get into that in another video. Or they become the golden child, which will become that, which we'll get into that in the other video. They put in dysfunctional narcissistic families, they put essentially they make people into they give people roles. Like I said, one person is a scapegoat, takes the blame. One person is the golden child. He or she can do no wrong. One person's the lost child, which is basically the child that gets no love or attention and is pretty much just swept to the side and ignored. And this is basically how what the narcissist does. They choose roles for their kids. When they have kids, they're fulfilling a fantasy, a need in them. When they have kids, they have kids for their narcissistic supply. They have kids to leech off of, to parasite off of, to emotionally drain them, and to sap their confidence and their happiness and their glow and everything that's good about them. Narcissists take every single positive quality or trait that you have and make it their own, to the point where you act just like them. They are parasites. They are parasites who leech off of you and who suck. I mean, imagine a black hole in space that just sucks everything in it. And that's what a narcissist is. They come into your life and they completely turn it upside down, and they destroy it, and then they discard you like an orange peel, and then they move on to the next victim. So, I hope this video helped you understand a little bit more about basic narcissism. I have so much to talk about narcissism, about hoovering, which is another narcissistic tactic, about gaslighting, about triangulation, manipulation. There's so many different tactics and so many different things that people with narcissistic personality disorder do, or people who have narcissistic traits, some people who have narcissistic traits do. There's just so many things. I will be making also, I'm thinking about making my channel in Spanish as well. Just so you guys can, just so I have another, a bigger audience. So I can get my message out to more people. And yeah, I highly encourage you guys to check out other channels on narcissism and borderline personality disorder, bipolar, and other different personality disorders. There are plenty of channels talking about narcissism and different kinds of personality disorders. So I highly, highly, highly encourage you to watch them. I mean, just go to the YouTube, type in the search bar, just type in narcissistic personality disorder. You will find video after video, channel after channel of people who have dealt with narcissistic parents or narcissistic people in their whole life, who have gone through this, who have experienced this. It's really important that you find channels with people who have gone through and experienced this, because it's just not enough for someone who has been educated in the area. You need to have experienced living with people who are narcissists and have antisocial traits to really understand exactly the depth of what they're talking about. It's very important to find people who experienced narcissistic people and people who have grew up with narcissists or who were raised by narcissists, because these are the people who really know what they're talking about. But I hope this video cleared a lot of things up for you, actually. And like I said, I highly encourage you to look at those other channels. Just go to the YouTube search bar and type in narcissistic personality disorder. There will be channel after channel, video after video explaining narcissism and different personality disorders and things alike. I hope you all have a great day. And I hope you all have enjoyed the video, and I hope this video has improved your life, and I hope this video has helped you maybe possibly identify some other people who might have narcissistic traits or narcissistic personality disorder in your family or your life. Maybe they're your friends, maybe they're your family, maybe they're your aunt, your uncle, cousins, whatever. So like I said, I really hope this video has helped you. I will be making another video shortly. I am not exactly sure when, but I will upload another video as soon as I can, and the next video will be explaining my life story and my narcissistic parents and all the things that I had to go through and how I escaped from them. But before I end this video, I want to kind of make a shout out to two people in my life that have really helped me, because without them I would not be where I am today. So you guys already know who you are. Yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys are amazing. Seriously, you guys have helped me a lot. Like I owe you guys a lot, and I really appreciate you guys a lot. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video right now, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.